Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of Midweek Matters. Origin special, joined by the great Gorden Tallis.
Jimmy, it's good to be here. After game one, I was with Woodsy, and I don't like playing reserve grade. You know, I got dropped from Origin back to reserve grade, but feels like I'm playing international football here with you.
Well, mate, it's great to have you on the show. Origin done and dusted. How do you feel? Brought to you by our good friend Tui's. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel like a Tui's.
Or two.
Or you feel like a Tui's or two. Those are some great campaigns. No, but you know, I'm back. I can wear blue again.
Well, yes, I did notice.
Because I banned myself from wearing blue for the 6 weeks, but now Origin's over. I don't mind the navy blue and the sky blue, so I'll get back into that. But I think it was a great series. Like, I thought there was a lot of pressure. Game one, like, let's just cut it back. It was 9 minutes and Munster madness that got us over the line. In game two, well, you know, you can sort of just rip that up because wasn't like an Origin performance. In game three, New South Wales, they just responded like they had to, and that's the only way. You know, like, you know, what do you have to do tonight? And it's just like, win. Oh, sorry, no, what do you have to do? Win. And they did
just win.
Yeah, just win. So no matter what they did, you know, they got it. And 75,000 New South Wales fans out there. I think that's when you need them the most. Like, that's when you need your state the most, is when you're losing, and they turned up in droves.
Yeah, they did. And Origin is over. Obviously, New South Wales got the victory last night, 24 points to 10. But what can you take away from that game? Because, you know, we'll talk about the excellent performances from Cody Walker. Teddy was outstanding. Cameron Murray, Bradman Best looked at home there, but it was missing the vital ingredients for me, and that's pressure.
Yeah.
And there was a certain amount, but nowhere near the same amount of pressure.
There was pressure on one team.
There was pressure on one team.
Pressure on one team.
Which affects the performance. Even, Gordy, if you look after the game, you know, when you finish a game and you win, and like, if that's a meaningful game, you're like ecstatic. Yes, I've just won for my state. But it was just like, yeah,
it was a relief.
Yeah,
it was a relief.
Different. It's different.
Yeah, I think it's a relief for New South Wales. I think it's a letdown for Queensland not to win, but it's not. Yeah, and you're right, and that's, you know, and that's something that we probably have to look at. And I know people always say, you know, there's two, but every state of origin's different. I thought that was so important. That's one of New South Wales, and I know that we look at it now, but when next year rolls around, they will look at that game. That's the game that they will look at, and the areas that they got beaten. And yeah, in the paper yesterday, they had the 9 Queenslanders chasing, and there's only Toto and Crichton, and they had, you know, I think Val Holmes and, you know, Coates from this side, Xavier Coates going across, and that. Yeah, I mean, that all those moments weren't there for Queensland. I don't think that they were as desperate. That's not taking anything away, but that's not the pressure. They didn't have to win the trophy, but they're still playing for Queensland. I thought they had to go, but New South Wales were way too good.
Yeah.
Well, way too good. And they beat them to the punch. And like, what do they beat them? Well, like, you look at Josh Addo-Carr, like, they all just, and Cody Walker just unlocked the whole system, didn't it? It was just like picking everybody's lock, picking them all apart.
Well, it just seemed that their skill execution. So I look at the Brian Toto try. Yeah. Like, on last play, there was no real shape. They just needed to get the ball through the hands, bang, bang, bang. It was all crisp. The bat on from Keon Koloamatangi was outstanding. That same sort of shape in games 1 and games 2, it wasn't getting all the way to Toto because the pass was just half a quarter of a yard behind on some of those occasions. So it either gets shut down at Keon Koloamatangi, or Brian Toto would get the ball, but because it's taken half a second longer to get to him, he gets chased down in the corner, and AJ Brimson makes a try-saving tackle. Yeah,
the skill level and the timing in that try, like, normally they kick because it gets there quicker, or their shape to break it down. It's sort of like, to me, it's like under 12. You know, you get pass it out to your winger, and everybody's got to pass it because no one has the big spiral pass, cut-out pass, or the accurate kick. But when it went across the line, every pass had to be perfectly timed for Toto to get there because Queensland were coming, and that's an unbelievable try. Like, watching it live, I'm going, oh, they can't get across there. They're going to put a kick in. We'll just, you know, it's a contest in the air, and we'll just diffuse it. And 7 just went, and they kept on going, and it kept on going. But the skill level in that, and Toto scored, and I thought, God, that was pretty cool. It was just old school footy. It just went through the hands.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have this shape, don't have to have all this. get the ball to where it needs to be.
Yeah, well, they attacked in yardage as well. And like you said, Cody Walker had his fingerprints all over that attack, and he seemed to bring out the best in Josh Adokar as well. There was a couple of times there where they got Josh Adokar on the outside of his opposite man and created a few breaks, and then his ability, like, I know people talk about the wingers these days and their athleticism, the ability to finish in the corner. But what about some of these chip and regathers that we see? Carl Pereira does it a few times for your Titans, which it's heart in the mouth stuff at times, but when they execute it, it's insane to watch.
I don't mind. It's probably like a big front rower throwing an offload. If he practices, if he goes there and he's doing it in the meat of the battle and he's, the 10 or 15 minutes after every session, if there's a winger practicing it, I buy into that. If he makes a break and he's got the fullback and he's covered and there's no support and we haven't done a job to support him, I like the way they back themselves. Carl Pereira does it. Sometimes it comes off his shins. I'm not that supportive of, if you're going to do it, make sure you hit the laces on your boot. Don't hit your shins like some people do. But Josh Adokar, the skill level, and I think Tabuai Fado.
Oh, he, you know what? I've watched it in slow-mo. He actually sort of side foots it. He doesn't just drop it onto the laces. He like gets a bit of a side. You have to watch it in slow motion. It's insane. And Adokar's one, like,
I'm thinking
he's running that fast. Like, he tried to sprint as fast as you can and control a kick. It's a really difficult skill to master. Then you've got throwing other bodies coming at you, the timing, like. It was perfect.
Yeah, it's executed perfect. It has to be executed perfect. It's sort of last option, and you got to make the play, and the bounce has got to be right. But their anticipation, both of those guys, I thought Josh Adokar, he was under the pump, and the Dogs aren't going that well, and he missed out last year and all that. But for him to do that just proves that he's there, And I think Josh Adokar cares, and to watch that try, and for those guys, and in the big moments, like that's played forever. So. That's something that's really cool. And Tabuai Fado, just on the other side, when he first started playing, we don't talk about him. I'm thinking, playing in the centres, Tommy and Latrell, they might get to him. Well, he's a rock star. Yeah. He showed that wherever he plays, he's going to be a handful, just one of those guys that has to be pretty much in every team. And when you talk to some NRL players and they go, Tabuai Fado, so big and strong, it's not what you think they're going to say. You go, oh, God, he's fast and he's lightning, but they talk about how strong and how big he is. So, you just now I'm looking forward to the next series with all of them back and bring it on. Yeah,
just on next series and that onto the future. Looking at this game, are you expecting to see Cody Walker come up against Queensland next year, based off what we saw yesterday?
You can't not pick him. You can't not pick him. The way he was able to get people to bite in. Like, I remember when I was playing against Cliffy Lyons, Wayne Bennett said, don't go out. Don't get it. And Cliffy would come across so slow, and for 25 minutes, he'd go across and there was nothing, and he'd pass it, and he'd just push it back inside and hit him. I'm thinking, and he just keeps on looking at me. I think, I can get to this little bugger. I know I can get to him. I know I can get to him. And you think that he's not looking, and you just go, and then next minute the ball, Steve Menzies getting tackled 40 metres upfield. Cody's got that ability with all and this is when we didn't have the same amount of structure in defence. So you imagine the video footage on Cody Walker, because South have been at the top. So the video footage on him, what Queensland would have done, and he still gets you to bite. He still gets you to come out. It's just, there's some geniuses out there that just playing, and the way he can just pretend, and he's got so many tricks in his bag, and you fall for him, and you've seen all the tricks, like you've watched them, and that's the art. And Cody, like, I don't care about age, and people talking like the banter, and the mind games of, picking combinations. I think you pick the guys that you think are going to get the job done to win the game, and no matter what age, you don't look for the future. You look for this game. You look for that moment. And I think Cody was that player in the moment because he proved that, and he was going to be in game 2, and maybe he was just quite overlooked because Nathan Cleary in the combination. So I feel sorry for New South Wales because they got I played with Alf and Kevy. Alf and Kevy were the two that we wanted to lead no matter where we were going. But then Alf or Kevy's out, you go, well, who's the next man? And I think Cody would have been it. And once they made the decision to move on Luai, I think Cody Walker is the man because he proved that he was.
Yeah.
And I'd love to run off him. Like, could you imagine, you just pick a hole, mate. You just pick whatever line, and if it opens for you, you're going to get the ball. You just run and he will create and he'll get someone to move in front of you. So you can just either fade out and in on him, or he'll pass through the hole, but you just got to pick the gap, whether it's inside shoulder or out, and he'll hit you.
So from a Queensland perspective, next season, does it make you more nervous, the fact that New South Wales came out and won?
Nope. Doesn't make me nervous. Because every series is different. Don't forget, there was Reece Walsh would have made a difference. I do believe, like with some of the good ball, we looked a bit clunky. And once you win, the boys went up to Cairns. I don't know what they did, but they go up to Cairns and you sort of get to celebrate the first couple of days, which is so important because you win and you don't get to celebrate it now. They go straight back to clubland and they're firing and they're all cylinders and they come back. They can't be tired and they're going and they're back on the ship and make whatever job needs to be done. It's all hands on deck now for the NRL to get back into the finals. So for those guys to celebrate and enjoy each other's company for that week, it's sort of that's important because they got the job done. So don't forget, they got the job done in the first two games.
Yeah, the mission complete.
Yeah,
win the series, right?
Absolutely.
Is it a strange one being in that position as a
I
player?
haven't been.
You've never been in that?
Nah, I've never won. I've never gone to England and won the series. I've never played an Origin and been up 2-0. I've always, a lot of time it was 1-1. So I played in a lot of deciders. And we had a couple of draws in those deciders as well, and we retained the trophy. And then I got beaten 3-0 in 2000. So I've been on the other side of it, and I could only imagine New South Wales would have celebrated that week because they deserved it. They got the job done. And I'm not sure what Queensland did, but they didn't have the same, passion, feel, and line speed, all that stuff that you bring when there's a bigger prize on the line. They didn't quite have that.
So as a player now, what? Yeah, either group of players. So New South Wales, we've won the game. We'll have a couple of beers, but it's not a real celebration. And then even the Queenslanders, do you think?
Yeah, it would have been. Look, they sung the song and they sing "I Ippy Ippy I," and the reason that come about is Queensland. We didn't have a song, right? I don't know whether Great Britain have a song. Australia certainly don't have a song, but in '98. Elves from Ipswich, Broncos have a song, so all your clubs have a song, but we won, I think, the grand final, then we won State of Origin, but we had no song, so Elf started singing his old club song, Ipswich, singing I Ippy Ippy I, and we all joined in because it was easy and it was a catchphrase, and then that sort of become the Queensland song, which I'm happy to sing that, and then it ended up becoming like an Aussie song, and I think Gallen got the shit because they won. And they sung it, but it's not it's just Ipswich. It's just a little, and then when Elf was there and it started, and it's a song that everybody could get along to and sing, unless there's another chant that we all know. Like I still call Australia Home's fantastic and all that, but doesn't have the same ring as I Ippy Ippy I, does it?
Fair enough.
So so for the boys to sing that, probably didn't sing it with the same amount of gusto as they did in Game 2, and they didn't go to Caxton Street and say 6 more songs.
Yeah.
So there's a shirt out now from Caxton, 6 more songs. So Alfie's come up with another little catchphrase. But it would have been strange feeling in both dressing rooms.
Yeah. Well, we've got lots to look forward to for the rest of this season, but for next year, the two coaches are off contract.
Yeah.
Let's go to Freddy first.
You keep him. Absolutely. I think
based off the performance?
I think based on 75,000 people there, they believe, right? Because it is the state's team. I don't believe that. And Billy always said, mate, we're here for a short journey, and it is the people of New South Wales team. They voted with their feet last night in a dead rubber, but with no prize on the line. In the current climate that we have financially, they've turned up. They've watched their team play. He's got the whole state to buy in. What he does for the New South Wales community is probably bigger than the game. So I love that with the homeless and everything that he does. I think Brad Fittler, and the part that he's missing is having a current coach sit with him.
Well, he had Ivan Cleary in the box
last night for the first time. But to have a really good assistant, like the best assistant in the game, that's a New South Welshman. And we have a Josh Hannay, and then we've always had that guy sitting there, like that guy that sits week to week, gets the trend of the game. Yeah, no doubt Billy, Cameron and Jonathan Thurston and Alf and Nate Miles, they're amazing to have around. And I would have, if I'm a young kid and I've watched those guys play, whatever they say, I believe, right? And you do. But to have someone go, hey, look, this is the trend, this is what that player's doing, gives you like a little bit more feedback on the message you're given, it's a bonus, huh?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure that all the guys in Brad's team, and they're all amazing players for New South Wales. I played against all of them. Unbelievable. But do they watch the same amount of footage as a coach? I would guess not. They watch footy, but not breaking it all down. And Origin's not about that, but to find out the trends, that's what I'd do if I was Brad Fittler. And last night, and Brad would have that power over every New South Wales coach, go around, ring them, what do you think? Pool all the information. And but I certainly wouldn't be getting rid of Brad Fittler. Because who are you going to replace him with? See, that's my biggest concern is they go, oh, Brad Fittler. And it's, well, who are you going to put in his spot?
Yeah, there's no obvious candidate.
There's no obvious candidate that is not coaching. Yeah, and Ricky Stewart, yes, he was a passionate. Gus Gould, yes, but he's got enough to bite off there at the Dogs. So there's a lot of these guys, but they're in clubland. You need an ex-player that has the time because I believe it's bigger than I know it's bigger than the 3 games. I know it's bigger than the 80-minute performance because of the stuff you got to do, the pathways and, you know, the amount of footage that you got to watch to get your selections right. It's a big job.
Yeah. So, well, do you think if let's just say if the Blues don't win last night in Queensland, do whitewash? Do you think he was playing? Do you think the result cements it now?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't think enough it gets made of Freddy's work in the community for New South Wales. You know, I don't think most and people. It's easy to forget, but I think that result really helps him, and the performance and the result. It's like I think that's bought him at least another year.
A lot of people are going to talk about it, right? So that footage, I'm going to go back to it when there's 9 Queenslanders. Did Billy train for that?
Well,
you don't.
No, you don't. But
it's just your want.
Yeah.
So where's the players' want? Right. That's not coach. So there's some things, and I always say that when you go to play footy, there's some things that you pack in the bag that the coach don't tell you to pack, and that's your attitude. That's your willing just to keep on going to the battle and get to the moment. Because the more moments you get to, you're never going to miss one. And that's what you bring. That's what you had in your career. Getting to the moment, showing you're tough, doing all that. And some players didn't want to get to that moment. So why do 3 Queenslanders from the other side? So that comes down to you personally. That's no coach
well, it just
tells
seems logical to get on your bike and get going back.
I've done it. But for some players it didn't.
Yeah.
So now that their footage has embarrassed them, well, they know the standard that it takes. Because Queensland. So if someone who you're playing against, if that's his standard, you don't move to that standard, you're never going to beat him no matter how much ability you have. And I think it's a great lesson. I see that photo as a great lesson to any kid that if you got a great attitude, you can beat a guy with ability.
Yeah.
And that's what that photo shows me. Because that's not an ability thing.
No,
that's not even a speed thing.
Well, you've got to be conditioned to do it. You've got to be willing to work hard and do the hard work in training because it's great to say, oh, I'll chase back, but when fatigue is setting in, it's hard to do.
Yes.
But you've just got to push through it and just get the job done. But
so Brad Fittler, no matter what he says, I think that's you and pick those guys, and then you might look at a guy that might not be fancied, like a Ruben Cotter. Like people go, wow, but he's got a Wally Lewis medal hanging around his neck just because of the want for him to just keep on turning up. He just keeps on turning up.
Great lesson to any kid out there, especially, a lot of kids, they play against bigger kids and they get put off by that and think, I need to be the biggest, the strongest, the fastest. But look at what Ruben Cotter done. And
then you look at Cody Walker.
Yeah.
What a great message that is. I'm 30. Mate, I've been there. Mate, I've thrown the intercepts. I've made so many mistakes on the bigger stage. People think I can't cut the mustard. That bit of doubt in his head. I'm a late bloomer and comes there on the bigger stage and unlocks the best defensive side, seriously in the competition. Like Queensland's defence in the last 2 games, and he just unlocks it.
Yeah, I just going back to Fittler, I think he's bought himself another year or two, and the fact that who else, who comes in? I think Ivan Cleary in the box sort of really worked well. I was speaking to a few people around, and they know when you're at the game, it's different. You're not noticing the interchanges as much.
Yeah.
Seem to got that right. I still do think that the makeup of the team needs a tweak. I don't know if you can have Gutherson or a utility and a second dummy half.
Well, it proves, right, that it was a just in case because he comes on with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
He come on with.
Well, it was the same with Hines. Hines was a just in case.
Yeah,
because he come on with 9 minutes to go in
and that's the pressure. And that's the pressure, and it'd be hard because we sit in the media, but that's the pressure of us liking Nico Hines. I think, God, he's the Dally M, but sometimes you can be that, but don't slot into now. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that he's not a good player or whatever, but look at Dane Gagai, look at Ponga. Like I'm thinking, oh, that's a bit strange, but Billy wanted now. Billy needed now, and they were the best now. And Val Holmes in game 1 and 2 was outstanding. Game 3, well, he'll forget about that.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think Freddy's done enough. What about Billy? He's off contract. Like, I think
he's worth double.
It's there. Yeah, it's there if he.
Well, he's worth double.
Yeah.
So whatever they paid him last time, I feel sorry for Ben Eichen because they say you pay me double or you don't get me.
He's got.
And Ben Eichen will go, I've just got into the seat. If I lose you, I don't have a job.
Yeah.
So Billy will go in there with his balaclava on, and Ben Eichen go because he's signing his own. Because he's signing his own job. Yes, you sure can. Anything else, Billy? I'll wash your car. Just leave it there. I'll wash it. You go down to the pub. May you walk up to the pub. No, look, I think what Billy's brought, and that's sort of joking, but what Billy's brought, I don't think we can afford to lose him at the moment for where we're at. I think what he's built on, and I don't think. But as I said, Billy rides polo, he's got his stud, he's got his horse stud down in Victoria. I couldn't imagine, like, if you watch his Instagram, he's got this huge big ground. So for that, the upkeep of that, that must take time and energy. Channel 9, I think he works at the Melbourne Storm, he works at an AFL. There's a lot on his plate already. And then State of Origin would be family time. So there's 3 games, there's 30 days away from his family. So I think he and Nicole will sit down there. He's got some young kids and Jakey, and then they'll just sit down and talk as a family. But he said that he'll never let Queensland down. So, Billy, we want you. We want you. I think, the way he talks, and I rang him before game 1. I said, oh, mate, how you going? Good luck. And I just want to wish him, because he rings, mate, can you come to this or that? And I said, good luck. And I said, selection. He goes, no. It's not who we leave at, it's who we've got in. Don't ever kid yourself on who's not playing for Queensland. It's who's playing for Queensland. I'm like, yes, yes, Dad. You know what I mean? It's like that moment, and I'm older than Billy, and I played against him, but just his certainty on where he was going and where his team's going, it just pulled me up because I was, get caught up in who's playing and what that and this, and he just shut. Listen here, I'm picking the side basically, and this is where we're going, and focus on who's playing for Queensland and the 17 running out there, and I like that. That's a lot of clarity.
Yeah. Do you think he could
coach the NRL side?
Yeah, I was going to say, is that the only threat to
he won't do
continuing?
You
don't think he'd do it?
No, he won't do it. Nope.
No.
Not at this stage in his life.
Yeah, it's a frightening prospect for
because I know people really close to him, and he don't want to coach yet. Yeah, because obviously the Melbourne Storm would be the ideal one, but even if that come off, and I joke because we got the same management, and I said, mate, Billy's got it. He goes, no, because he really loves what he's doing. He absolutely loves this stage of his life, and he's been so involved. Like, I think obviously when he goes at something a bit like yourself, they go so hard and deep that he doesn't want to go back there. I think this Queensland is the perfect Storm for him at the moment with what he's got. He can get that taste. He
get that little fix
get that really fix of his competitiveness, because he can compete really hard there, and that's his 30 days that with the boys, but all the other work, that's him.
And it's consuming for that stage of time, but then
that's it now, and he can just go, and then he gets the off season, and he's not when no one's watching and there's no bells and you're in the dark and you're planning on a preseason.
And you're not dealing with player contracts and want-away players and all that. Mate, honestly, the coaches in our game, like,
well, Craig Bellamy,
I have so much admiration for the commitment and everything that they do.
No.
It's incredible, and it goes for speaks for so many coaches across so many domains. But yeah, the NRL, the life of an NRL coach.
I tell the story. I went down to stay with Craig. I don't know what I was doing in Melbourne. I actually forget what I was down there for, but come and stay. And I'm and we're going to go. There's these great restaurants. I think there's Valados, this great steak restaurant in Melbourne. It's famous, and there's Schumacher and all these famous people on the wall. Hard to get in. I'm sitting there waiting. Pre-season. This is October or November. You get something like at 8:30. You didn't lose. You didn't lose yesterday. You didn't lose on the weekend. That's Craig's work ethic. I couldn't do. I couldn't.
And he would be in it,
and that's normal.
Early hours of the morning as well.
And that's normal. That's not him. Making me like he's got someone sitting there waiting to go for dinner, and that's what he does. Like bugger that.
Yeah.
Does Billy want that? Because that's who he's probably learned the work ethic from, or like I'm not saying that he's learned that, but that's what he knows. And then
that's kind of what you've got to do.
And then there's rumours that when they go to Melbourne, they'll hear a noise and the lights are off, and Craig's in there first thing, and he's training, he's on the roll or he's on something, sweating, and just the lights from outside are in there, and he's just one of those guys. Does Billy want that's probably. Do you need that to succeed? Does Ivan do it? Does Wayne do it? Maybe not. But Wayne's been around. I think he walked with the dinosaurs, so they're all fossil. So he's back. So the old fossil. Mate, we got to get a good nickname. Do you reckon we should call him Fossil? The Foss.
I'll let you run with that one.
What do you call him, mate, when he coached in England? What did you call him?
Wayne. Coach.
Oh, Coach. Is it Coach?
Yeah, Coach, yeah.
What's a gaffer?
Gaffer is like your coach, your boss, yeah. The
gaffer.
The gaffer, yeah.
So did you call him the gaffer?
We wouldn't have called Wayne the gaffer.
Because he's not English?
No, he didn't necessarily. It's not that popular in too many rugby league teams. There was a couple that I've been involved where we call, like at St. Helens, we'd call Daniel Anson the gaffer. And then I came here and started calling Des Hazard the gaffer. I think you've got to have a certain...
So there's a standard there.
Yeah, well, it's a respect thing. So...
Wow.
Actually, we spoke to Tim Sheens about it, about him players not addressing, like when he first started, hey coach, and then it's like now it's like, oh hey Sheensy.
Yeah, because I still
respect.
call Wayne coach.
Yeah,
hey coach.
Yeah.
And if I walk past Belliak, I call Craig coach because he's a coach. Any coach.
It's a mutual respect thing. I think it's kind of like even now. Like if I see an ex-teacher, I'd say,
"Hey sir." I say, yeah.
It's like you don't have to call me sir. Like one of them drinks in the pub. I was like, "Hey sir." It's like you don't have to do that. It's like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. It's a respect thing.
Yeah, it is. So that's what I'm getting to. So there was rumours of maybe Sam Burgess. So you got coached by an Aussie. Sam Burgess, an Englishman telling New South Wales how to... No, mate.
Yeah.
See, so that's my point. You know what I mean? So like then, you know what I mean? So like I think that...
I don't think Sam could do it. Well...
Oh, are you still holding the grudge from the grand
final? No. He could do it in terms of like, has he got the ability to? Yes. It's just the very, like, not to sound xenophobic, but the very fact that he's English would be played on.
I think so too. Like my theory, and people ask, and then I can be proven wrong, but I'd rather lose as a Queenslander. That's what makes Origin so good. It's called Origin. I'd rather New South Wales lose as a New South Wales, because there was talk when Bellamy was with us, and we thought, Balliak coach Queensland, and there was rumours like Balliak and the old boys, like these, like the originals. No way. A New South Wales man walks in and coaches us, sort of thing. So that's, and then I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. If we're not good enough, so be it. We're not good enough as a group, And I think that's what makes it, I watch it in other sports, but
something different about
when Wayne coached England,
interstate.
Mate, when Wayne coached England, he's not singing a national anthem. He doesn't know the history of it really. When he coached New Zealand, he
knows about getting men together though.
I get that.
He was amazing for us in England. and he came with a pedigree, and we loved him, and he bought into the English culture that we had, and he made us better players.
He doesn't drink. How can he get into the English culture? Going to the pub, lad. You're off to the pub have a couple of pints.
He allowed us to keep that tradition alive,
right, lad.
But yeah, it's an interesting one about Billy Slater.
So he let you old blokes do whatever you wanted?
Not whatever we wanted,
but pretty close.
He let the lunatics think they were running the asylum.
So it's funny. Like the people always say, "What's Wayne like?" I said, "Mate, we made a lot of decisions. Just none of them were important." He lets you buy in. There's nothing important about what he lets you. And then all the players are still getting con. Oh yeah, mate, we're doing that. And hey boys, what do you want to do? But it's your day off, mate. What do you want to do today? You want to go that? You want to go? It's your fucking day off. You can choose whatever you want. But he lets you. Oh mate, you can do that. Or yeah, mate, yeah, great idea. You want to go there? I'm like, and then you get back to the train and you go, that was our day off. He talked us into going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh bloody fossil.
It was, I loved him at England.
Yeah, no, see, because I love Sam, and part of me is a bit jealous if he goes and does that.
Would you have him in the Queensland setup? Would you have Sam Burgess in the Queensland setup?
Playing for us, yeah.
No.
Mate, I love Sam. Sam is one of my favourite players, and to have something to do with him at South, and when I watch him, I was a bit envious for the way he played. Like he was a beast, right? And I would have loved to have played like Sam. Like I played against Morley and, all those sort of guys. But Sam's one of those guys that he was just, I reckon he's one of the fucking hardest blokes I've ever seen, But England, yes. I'd love to see him coach England. I'd love to see you go coach England.
No.
I would.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, well, that's fair. But I want to ask you this. As a Queenslander, would you let Sam Burgess be part of the setup there? No.
No, because we got to win and lose as Queenslanders. And I think that we were losing the fabric with having players, and that's why the game's working so hard on the international game, so the kids growing up want to play for their countries. That state of origin isn't the pinnacle. And I don't want to, make it sound anything bigger or better than what it is the colour of the jersey. So you grow up in Queensland, you're born in Queensland, you can wear a Queensland jersey. You go, I want to play for that. And wearing a Queensland and New South Wales jersey, play for Australia. Wear anything else. And that's why they're trying to get the rep payments when you play for Australia or whatever. It's exactly the same. And then to grow the game, if England played against all those Pacifica nations, how good would it be? Like some of my favourite games in Tonga versus Samoa, watching England play Tonga and Australia getting beaten, and then the tattoo of some of the players on their legs of the score. That's where we need to get to. Mate, we have to move grounds because there's a World Cup coming. We might not see it in our time, but we got a pie in the sky where maybe one day rugby league is back there where France was the biggest nation and they would beat us, and then the government stopped France from playing rugby league. The government stopped it.
It was banned. It was outlawed.
Yeah. So we need to, get back to that where, when we walk in Paris at some stage, and then that would be my dream. There's got to be 4 teams in France. Just go to that area because they're so good in rugby now, and have them join the Super League. That's how we grow the English game. That's how we better the English game. Right? Try to get some other guys to go there, and then have this rivalry between that. Well, you're thinking now, aren't you?
Yeah. Well,
or is that too hard logistically?
I'm thinking
it's an hour flight from London to Paris.
Well, I think
there's a train.
Our sport is, we see a lot of like private investment especially from the Middle East. So I'm just looking at the soccer league that has just taken off with some insane signings from the European leagues, like some quality players going there, and that's all off the back of like investment in the game, private
like
equity.
Golf, Live Rugby League.
Like could private equity? Well, even here, mate, Charlie and I were speaking about it before. There's the NRL at the moment is ripe for someone to come in and swallow it up. We don't have a CBA. The clubs don't have licenses. Like if some multi-billionaire from Saudi or wherever,
how good would it be?
Oh, no, how
good would it be that our product's that good? We've driven it
because
to that level.
Someone could come in and go, well, I'll take over.
It's like golf. That's fine.
And same over.
But as long as they take, and then all the clubs would sign it. Because you need it all. So that's even, But
Anyway,
gee whiz, that was digress.
We're going to take a quick break from the podcast to tell you about AG1, the daily foundational nutritional drink with all your needs in the one place. I like to look after my health, and AG1 takes care of that for me. No more tablets, vitamin pills, all the health, nutrition I need, all in the one place. Every single morning, it's as easy. Open up the fridge, scoop of AG1 in a glass, cold water, stir it with a fork, drink it. It tastes great, and it helps me know. It gives me the peace of mind that all my nutritional needs are taken care of, all in the one drink. It really is as simple as that. And also, anybody that knows anything about health benefits knows that it comes with adding simple routines to your day. It's not about magic pills. They're not going to work. AG1 helps me be the best version of myself by having this new habit of every single morning having that drink. I know my nutritional bases are covered thanks to AG1. A lot of athletes are now taking AG1, and with 75 high quality ingredients, it's no wonder why. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/buy-round. That's drinkag1.com/buy-round. Check it out. Any big celebrations after an Origin?
Well, because you were sort of in a hotel and it's a Wednesday night, there wasn't too much going down. So it was mainly in the dressing room until the esky runs out, and then
that's poor management. You should always oversupply with alcohol. I find
I think so, especially when they were sponsors. Yeah, like it was the Tui's Blue and the 4X Maroons, which is But anyway, and then we didn't have the walk into Caxton and that's cool. I love that's cool. That's something
good, isn't it?
That I'm jealous, because we used to get the drive down the street. They get the walk into the street. So the Queensland side have it so much better than what we had it. And maybe New South Wales, one of those little pockets outside, walk into that whole area and have a beer, but just get left. Like, it's amazing how the players it's a respect thing. Like, mate, they're drinking in a pub with the players. That's pretty cool. But we'd go back to the hotel and just stay. Like, I remember, because you don't get back to the hotel till 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. The sun come up a few times.
Yeah.
After a win. I'm like, oh, Jesus. I got to play on Friday night, and it's Thursday morning.
Yeah, Thursday morning.
Yeah, and then Wayne was the master. So Wayne would go, mate, concentrate on Origin. He'd come in the dressing room, or he'd ring you, hey, mate, enjoy, what a great win, or whatever. You go, oh, thanks, mate. And he goes, don't worry about that, mate. We'll talk about it then about lunchtime on Thursday. Hey, mate, just come in and get a massage and do your recovery. And, hey, mate, can you get 20 minutes out of you? Oh, here it goes. And the 20 minutes turn into, mate, once you're out there in the battle, the 20 minutes, and then you don't want to let your teammates down, because they're the guys that you stood on their shoulder to get to get that jersey in the first place. So once you go back, mate, your teammate's your teammate. So not as big as when you're over in England, and you win a test series, because you're away, and they'd sort of give us 2 or 3 days to celebrate, which was always a lot better, like better celebrations with your country and club than it is State of Origin.
How difficult is it as a player like yourself, for instance, that you've got such a big focus on State of Origin, so much pressure, so much emotion, the occasion, so much level of importance. It's arguably the greatest sporting competitive game on the planet in State of Origin. It's so fierce. It's insane. How do you go from that to then start to focus back on your club football? Are you forgiven to just be, I'm just here, I'm just going to not go through the motions, but just perform
when
before
you're young.
It starts to get serious? Like, is it that Friday game you're fully switched on and engaged?
No, you're not. You're just, when you get to the Friday, so when you back up, it's just about Like, you know, your legs can be shot in the warm-up. You know, you just go, oh, my God, they're feeling a bit jelly. So it's just about pulling on your boot. Like, it's the smallest things. You just focus, get through the warm-up, have a good warm-up, have a good warm-up, have a good warm-up. Then when you run out there, it goes back to the basics. And once you get in there and then you start feeling and your lungs burn and you do get tired, like you are, you know, you do fatigue a little bit quicker. But for me, coming back from Origin, it was more mental than physical because you do less training, right? It's more mentally getting up. So, you know, you get, oh, God, I need to not train, but you don't. You actually need to do your weights because over that, you know, you don't do as many weights, you don't do as many sessions as you probably would at club because it's about pulling you back to get you to peak, you know. So it's dangerous with some clubs when you have a lot of players. In Penrith, it's a juggle now to get them back, freshen them up mentally, but they've got to still come in and do the work without playing the game and it's really hard to get yourself up for it. Yeah. I believe to get yourself up for it, but I know that you come back a better player. The best way it got described to me is probably like driving. State of Origin is like driving at 200 kilometres an hour. Right, 200. You miss some shit, right? You miss shit. Then you get back in the clubland and you go on 100. Oh, that service station or that. Like it just slows that much. It's the same game, but it just slows down that much, even for a player like me that's not a ball player or whatever. So Cody Walker will come back, I reckon, south. Now, superstar, come back, did everything that he needed to do, Cam Murray, you know, all those stuff. It can really springboard
I thought
your team.
I thought Cam Murray starting made a big difference yesterday as well. But with the Premiership race now hotting up, who
South.
You and Souths. Latrell coming back is
mate, when they
huge.
all come back, mate, if you have Cody unlocking everything, if you have Cam Murray getting through, you got Jai Arrow that'll come back from his injury. You got the forwards, you got, you know, Kaloa Matangi that's just played, so he's going to come back a better player. Like he hasn't been drained by the whole series, so he's going to come back with a bit more spring. Yeah. And then he was talking about how insecure he was about his own playing, and you know, so those guys should springboard. Penrith, how they come through, you know.
Is South's defence a bit of a concern?
Yeah, of course. Everybody's defence is a bit, because Penrith are the best defensive team, right? There's no doubt. But South will just, I think they'll just go blow for blow. I think they'll just back to go blow for blow. They do have a bit of problems with Penrith, and Penrith know how to defend Latrell. But don't write Latrell off in a big moment.
Well, mate, the last time they played each other, it was at Accor Stadium, and I thought Souths were done. But remember, they came back in the last 5 minutes. I think they scored 2 tries, and it was just all on that left edge. It was like, I think that like psychologically, puts Souths in a good position where they go, we've been here before, and we've done it against them.
Yeah, so I think that their big players can get to that moment. You know, Penrith are still arguably the best side in the competition. They're the premiers, and they are the premiers until they get beaten. Everybody keeps on talking Brisbane that last year they're a totally different footy side. Queensland are a totally different footy side without Reece Walsh. So Reece Walsh coming back, Carrigan, Payne Haas, who's missed last night. That whole situation of those guys coming home, I don't think Flegler's injuries is big. So Reynolds, Mam, I think Billy Walters is doing a fantastic job. Katoni Staggs has got back to somewhere near his best. Cobbo, and they've got enough there. They've got enough.
I really like Melbourne, you know, as well.
Yeah,
I'm liking what they're doing. Just
they don't go away, do they?
No, they just
they actually never go away.
If they can get Pappenhausen back, like.
What is it about Melbourne? They just never go away.
Nah, I know, and every year...
They're like that annoying fly on Christmas that just
every
keeps
year
on hanging
you're like,
around.
Surely this is it.
You think the players that they've lost, where they're going, that they're going to go, and you got Harry Grant that's going to come back. You got Munster, right?
I've got, at the moment, Penrith Melbourne final. As much as I love Souths and what they bring,
You got Penrith?
Penrith Melbourne. Final, yeah. Just at the moment.
Well, let's talk about the teams just outside the 8. Can the Roosters make it?
Nah, I think they're gone.
Manly?
No.
They can't make it?
No.
So
I think there's nine
Cowboys?
Teams. So
they're 9th, aren't they, the Cowboys?
Yeah, I think from the Cowboys off.
How dare you? The Titans are like
Mate, you know what?
the Titans, mate, if we go on a run.
No, but the Titans, that decision, I think, cost them a crack.
That penalty. If they win that, those 2 points. And then the week before.
And also what it does for your
mate, the last couple of
headspace.
weeks, mate, they should have won. Mate, they should have won the last two.
Yeah. And
But that's the best thing about the Titans now. They're actually, before they were getting beaten, now they're sort of they're sort of losing it. Like before, they were just getting beaten. And I don't think they had too many answers now. I think the club's turned the ship around pretty quick. And, I don't write them off because I'm an ambassador and I hate losing. It pisses me off.
But I think if they'd have won...
Yeah, if they would have won the last two.
Especially without Mo.
The Raiders, they got dudded with a couple of calls.
Without Fodawaker, without Tino, without Fafita, without Brimson. Like, if they'd have won that game without those four and then had those four come back, I might be missing some others as well.
No, that's about right.
Yeah. You know who's just going about their business nice and quietly as well? The Raiders. Like, I reckon they're the dark horses for a push this late in the piece. Yeah. They just go about their business, man. They've got one of the best forward packs.
Yes.
Tomoko's playing out of his skin. Nickel Cluxter's playing out of his skin.
And Tarpany. For their standards, I'm not talking for but for their standards, they've been a little bit down to, and Corey Horsburgh's been the star. So you imagine he make the big source coming back, and then you get those guys. Do they have enough power? Do they have enough?
Mate, they've got points on an edge with that Tomoko kid. Jeez.
He's a Ruben Wiki, isn't he?
He is. he was, like, I know the Dragons are on the slide, but, geez, he was insane last week. And then, they've got their narrative. They've got this story, and it's Jack Whiten. Sometimes you need a bit of a story.
I'm going to get you a contract with Golden Books. Good storyteller.
Good storyteller. Jack Whiten.
Parramatta?
They've got a really difficult run in from memory, and I don't know a bit.
What about Mitch Moses and all those guys like coming back from Origin?
Depends how much Moses comes back.
Gutho, the confidence after 2 minutes.
Don't
laugh, mate. I'm serious.
They might have just left themselves a little bit. I think that last spot in the 8, it's going to be contested between the Cowboys and Cowboys, Sharks, and Para. And I don't know if Para's draw is favourable enough, and I think they may have just given themselves too much to do.
What about, like you said, and the good judges, and I think Joey and I think Gus and all those guys have said the Cowboys can win the competition. Do you believe that?
I think I can see it happening. They've got a handy bye. I think they've got a bye maybe 3 games before the end of the season, which will help freshen them up. But they're gonna have to win more games than they lose in order to make it. I think you've got to get 13 wins. And from memory, I think 13 wins will guarantee you. And let's just have a look where they're at. So they're 9-8. So 13.
I like them. The way they, what was it? Melbourne, they've had a couple of big victories of late.
That one against but again, so you've got Panthers, Broncos, Sharks, Storm, Raiders, Warriors, Eels, Rabbitohs, Cowboys. Like, how do you pick one of those teams not to play finals?
I know.
And then, like you say,
the Titans in there as well.
The Titans as well.
Stop, mate. Can you hear that laughing in the next room? I don't like that. Yeah, no, but that's the part of the season that we're going to get back to now, and the jostling, and then once all the buys, and then that's the focus. And some team will make a run, and some team will fall off a team will fall off the cliff.
Yeah, they will.
Yes,
it's hard to know from those teams though.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't make it?
And now Teddy, right? This is the funny thing, right? He's been under the pump, and only for the standards that Teddy set, and Father Time catches up with everybody. But last night He just got in the clear. He just poked his nose through once. He normally pokes it through, 15 times a game. But, if he gets a bit of mojo back and the Roosters go on a run, I don't know whether they can, but if they do go on a run,
it's a tough
it's a tough run.
It's a tough one for the Roosters.
But they get Brandon Smith back. This
but
weekend,
they've got to do like
run.
they've got to win basically every
game.
game. Yeah,
and they can't do it.
And I don't know if they can do it.
No.
Anyway, I reckon that just about wraps us up. Gorden Tallis, thank you so much for joining us here on Midweek Matters. It's been a pleasure to sit and talk all.
You wouldn't think I'd be this happy after a Queensland loss, would you?
No, but you won the series. You won the objective.
There you go.